Senator Cassidy.
Two things, Mr. Chair and Madam Ranking Member. Both, first, thank you for your good work and for Burr and Casey. Next, I want to thank you, Mr. Chair, for the GAO report that was requested as part of the Good Samaritan Act. We look forward to that data illuminating what might happen. And lastly, I'd also like to speak to the antimicrobial, and I thank the Chair and Senator Burr for work on this legislation. Part of our continued effort to assure we can respond to infections is to make sure that we have a pipeline of antimicrobials. The business model has changed. When I was a medical resident, they'd come out with a new drug, they would charge a lot of money for it, it killed everything that needed to be killed, you'd write a lot of it, and the drug company would recoup their investment. Now the paradigm has changed. You come out with a new drug, costs hundreds of millions of dollars to develop, but you never use it until there is a problem. Now that business model we haven't figured out yet. Turns out drug companies are not developing these drugs. We want BARDA to do so. The importance of this, I will submit for the record just an article I ran into last night, if I may. It's a report out of England where their head of their Department of Health speaks about common infections killing as they once did. A C-section with a minor methicillin-resistant Staph aureus infection leading to death. A hip replacement leading to death. And that's where we are. They predict that by one person there predicts that by 2050, 10 million people will die a year if we don't do something to address this. What's the problem with the incentive? As I described, the business model has changed, but Janet Woodcock says the incentives currently in place apparently are not enough to overcome the scientific and profit-based challenges still facing developers. We have some drugs in the pipeline, but the pipeline is still very fragile. We need more antibiotics for biosecurity and public health. I look forward to working with my colleagues to ensure we have a regulatory framework that provides innovation in this antibiotic space. And thank you for allowing me to emphasize this point.
Thank you, Senator Cassidy. And on your first point on the Good Samaritan Act, we could use your ingenuity to help us continue to work on that to make it not complicated when a medical professional wants to go help with the aftermath of Katrina, for example, but do it in a way so that the officials in charge and the doctors who are there have some knowledge of what's going on. So I think we can do that.
Yes,
so
I do too.
We've made some good progress. The GAO report will help, and I appreciate your bringing that up. Anyone else have comments on the bill?